Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when you had to go to a hotel lounge for a drink at Disney World.
This is episode 95, the Monorail Lounge Crawl at Walt Disney World.
Or, if you drink, don't drive, do the monorail crawl.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure.
We call it Epcot.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 95 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And today we're going to go around in circles. We're going to talk about another thing we did in our last Disney World trip, and that was the famous Walt Disney World Lounge Monorail Crawl.
I wanted to do this for literally years. We just always do such short trips to Disney World that we never leave ourselves time for this kind of thing. And this time we specifically blocked out an entire day to spend the morning at Disney Springs, which you'll hear about in another episode, and the afternoon and evening to do a monorail crawl. And it was so worth the wait. I had such a good time.
It was really fun. A little history on the Monorail Crawl. Way back in the old days when Disney World was just a little bitty theme park, 2 hotels, a monorail, and some buses, you could do the lounges at the Poly and the Contemporary. Well, over the years, they added the G-Flow, of course, the Grand Floridian, so there's lounges there. And then they added in alcohol at Magic Kingdom. You can go in now and you can get a drink at, about any sit-down restaurant, right? I mean, Skipper's Canteen, Plaza, Tony's.
Yeah, anywhere that you are seated at a table served by a waiter. You cannot get it to go at the end. You can only get it while you're sitting there.
So like at Be Our Guest now, you can get a glass of wine with your dinner, which I think that's a great idea. So here's the question. Would Walt be beside himself, or would Walt be beside you drinking a beer? Good question. I think he might be sitting by me drinking a beer and having a chat.
Actually, I think Walt's favorite drink was a Scotch Mist, but he'd probably be joining you for that.
Well, that's true. That's in my bucket list if I was still, older or had that Epcot time machine we talked about a while back.
That was a fun game.
But, oh well. Anyway, so what we did is we went over and got the monorail and went point to point to point. We basically went to the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian. We didn't go to the Magic Kingdom, but we did go to the Contemporary. So those are the 3 we're going to talk about on this tour.
Rod, do you want to talk about a little about the logistics of how you do this? It's not as easy as you think, because you have to actually get to a place where you are accessing the monorail or the hotels.
It's a very, very good point. So if you're staying on park or on resort, you can simply take the bus out in front of your resort over to the Magic Kingdom and then hop the monorail.
Yes, and the point behind that is if you're staying at Pop Century, you can't take a bus from Pop Century to Contemporary. You can't go hotel to hotel on a bus or on... Well, you can on the Skyliner, but that's a whole different crawl. We'll do a Skyliner crawl sometime. But you can't just hop a bus from your hotel and go to another hotel. So you have to get to a theme park, which will then get you to either another hotel or the monorail.
Right. And for the monorail, since it's at the Magic Kingdom, that's the way to go. So you can pick any of the 3 hotels that you want to start at. From Magic Kingdom, you can walk over to the Contemporary, or you hop the hotel monorail and then take it through the Contemporary to the Poly, or over to the Grand Floridian. Or you could walk to the Grand Floridian. What we did is we went from Riverside, where we were staying, to the Magic Kingdom, and then we took the boat, which is another, I think, underused, underknown way of getting between Magic Kingdom and those resort hotels. So we took the boat across to the Polynesian, which is where we started off. And Sue, what's the name of the place that we chose? Because there are multiple lounges.
There are. All of the hotels have multiple lounges. We're going to walk you through the ones that we chose, and then we'll give you the alternatives. Now, when we went to Poly, our initial desire was to hit up Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. Is legendary. I have never been. I have always wanted to go. I've seen videos. I've heard stories. Rod's been several times to the one in California.
Yeah, thank you, Steph and Brian, for taking me to the one in California, I've gotten to see the one at the Disneyland Hotel, and we both have been wanting to go to this one here at the Poly for a long time.
It is a small venue, and it is very, very popular. So we went over at about 2:30. The line opens at 2. It was sold out for the night by 2:30. She didn't even say, try again later. She said, the wait list is full. We're done.
This was a holiday weekend. It was Martin Luther King Sunday, so it was going to be busier than normal. So if you're there on a weekday or just a little bit into the off season and not a holiday period or summer season, you might be able to get in if you get there about 1:30. Would be like you said.
Right.
If it's
just be
a
prepared
holiday,
to wait.
Yeah, holiday, you might even get there 2 hours in advance because the line fills up quickly just to get into the wait list.
Now, the actual hours of Trader Sam's are from 3 p.m. to midnight. But again, we were there at 2:30 and it was full. You cannot make a reservation, so you can't book in advance. You just have to be there in person. So we did not get into Trader Sam's, but because we didn't get into Trader Sam's, we were able to just walk a little ways down to the new DVC property and do Wailulu Cafe.
The new one.
The new one.
Oh, good. Oh, heavens.
Actually, it's called Wailulu Bar and Grill. Sorry, not cafe.
Oh, good. Definitely worth the extra little walk. It's maybe a 5-minute walk from the ceremonial house.
Well, and it's by the beach and by the lagoon, and it's gorgeous. Like, it's not any kind of a chore to make this walk.
Yeah, so Wailulu has 2 entrances. It has a lounge entrance as you walk up from the outside. And if you walk into the main building, there's more of a restaurant entrance, and they do have the same lounge menu plus more food. So we actually chose to go into the restaurant and sit down rather than just do the lounge. And I'm glad we did because the lunch menu was fantastic.
Our ultimate goal for doing the monorail crawl was to do 1 drink each and an appetizer at each of the locations, just to get sort of a general feel, a general vibe, see how we liked each of the lounges. So for this one, we did choose to sit outside. Even though it was freezing, they had the little heater things going, and it was very comfy. Beautiful, beautiful view of the lagoon, and you truly feel like you're in a tropical paradise. Like, it is beautiful. They have the little pools, the little infinity things where they're running off the end, you know what I mean? Very, very pretty. And you're just surrounded by this gorgeous nature and wonderful, relaxed, felt like a very Hawaiian vibe. So loved that whole thing. The lobby is absolutely gorgeous. They have recycled materials created into art. They have hanging live plants built into the art on the walls and hanging from the ceiling. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'll post a picture that I took from the lobby. It's just so pretty. We did sit outside on the patio where we had a view of the lagoon instead of the indoors. And I do recommend that because soaking up that vibe is essential to this location, I would say.
Their lunch and dinner menu is virtually the same as with many Disney restaurants. They do serve breakfast at the bar starting at 7 a.m. up until 11.
And it's like a grab-and-go situation.
Right, and coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're staying in the DVC building, or even right there at one of the wings of the Polynesian that are closer to there, you can walk over there instead of Captain Cook's if you'd like. I do not think that going out of your way as a non-resort guest in the morning is probably...
No, definitely not. It's like cinnamon rolls and croissants, like
right.
Things that you can just take and go.
But going here for lunch or dinner, yes. By all means, go to Wailulu for this. We 100%. Got the ahi tuna crisps.
It is marinated ahi tuna on crispy fried wontons with avocado crema, sriracha aioli, and a soy glaze. It's very simple. There's not a lot of stuff going on. It's just very simple and very, very fresh and delicious. I seriously love this more than I thought I would. It's $17 currently. Again, prices change. We're going to give you prices on everything, but keep in mind that they will change. But these were so shareable. They were so fresh, and I literally thought it was the perfect appetizer.
Now, as far as the bar menu went, it was all tropical drinks, of course, something you would think you were on a cruise ship when you're drinking. One thing I noticed on these, though, once we got the drinks, it seemed like they were very small for the price.
They're tiny.
Yeah, so they were a little drinkettes.
I'm going to post pictures. When we travel, I carry a little wooden figure of our puppy, Kaylee. And she was a little white Westie, and I'd carry a tiny little wooden figure, and she goes with us everywhere. She's been all over the world. So all of my pictures for this lounge crawl have Kaylee in them. And that's actually going to work out very well because you can compare sizes.
Yeah.
So she is almost as tall as the glass on this one, and she is little. So just keep that in mind when you see the pictures. Rod, what did you get to drink?
I got Pog, basically. It's a passion fruit and pineapple daiquiri. I expected a bigger daiquiri-looking glass.
Yeah, it was like one of those little champagne glasses, the rounded ones, not the flutes.
And I mean, for $15.50, I don't know, I expected a pineapple. Now, of course, you can get that up at the Tambu Lounge, but this flavor was just amazing. It was very tropical, very, very fresh, like Sue said, very citrusy. So if you're not loving citrus flavors, this is not the one for you. But if you like those tropical cruise ship, sitting on the beach drinks, this is a great one.
And it was made with 10-to-1 Caribbean white rum, Minute Maid passion fruit orange guava juice, pineapple, and lime. So basically, yeah, Pog for grown-ups.
And it was great. Sue, what'd you get?
I got the Mai Tai, and it has a name on it that is Hawaiian. So I'm going to give this a shot.
Good luck.
Lili Uokalani Mai Tai. And it was $16.50. It was made with Lili Uokalani tea-infused vodka, Jamaican rum, passion fruit, guava, lime. I never know how to say this. Orgeat?
Almond.
It's the almond.
Just call it almond.
The almond liqueur. So this was $16.50. It was even smaller than Rod's drink.
I know.
And $1 more.
I didn't think you could. But again, flavor-wise?
It was so delicious. I would get this again, even knowing how small it is. I would get it again because the flavors were that good.
Yeah, they also do a sake drink, a hibiscus margarita. They have some zero-proof ones, but, why bother if you're doing this? They have a gin mule, an espresso martini. They
have a banana old-fashioned.
Yeah, which I'm going to have to try next time. That one looks amazing.
I'm intrigued by that.
So, I mean, they do have a very tropical, very citrus-forward menu for drinks. They do have a full bar as well because, like I said, you can go to the lounge and just walk in and sit down at the lounge seating first come, first serve. And you can order from that same menu.
Now, basing off of what Rod just said about why bother, I'm going to jump in and just say we do recommend doing a monorail crawl if you're staying on property and not driving your own car.
That's true. If you're not driving in, you can do this a lot easier because you should never drink and drive.
Yes,
I'm going to say that right out. If you're staying off property and are being brought into the resort, then you can take Uber directly into the Polynesian, the Contemporary, or the Grand Floridian. So that's another good way to get there.
Yes, absolutely. And if you are bringing someone with you who doesn't enjoy an adult beverage or wants to be the designated driver, they do have a zero-proof pina colada, which sounds delicious as well. So you can still enjoy those tropical vibes without the alcohol if you are going that route.
So the alternate to this would be the lounge up by Ohana, which is called the Tambu Lounge. And we've talked about this a few times. Like I just said, you can get a big pineapple hollowed out with all kinds of fruity alcohols in it. A lot more expensive than some of these drinks. It's a little less priced than some of the drinks that you're seeing at Wailulu and larger portions. It's more loud because it's in the Great Ceremonial House and it's next to Ohana, so a lot of people are there with their kids waiting to get into Ohana.
Also very hard to find seating because of that.
Yeah, it's also a very small space. So my suggestion now that the new bar and grill is open there at the new building, go to the new building and do Wailulu.
Absolutely. If you do want to hit up Tambu Lounge, they are open from 8:30 in the morning because Ohana does do breakfast until 11 o'clock at night, but you cannot get food, the appetizers, from the Ohana menu until 4 p.m., so keep that in mind.
Oh, but you can get the nudes. You can get the noodles. Sorry, not the nudes. The noodles.
You can get the noodles, you can get the chicken wings, you can get the bread pudding, all of that stuff, but only after 4 p.m.
So next we walked because it's so close to the Grand Floridian from the new building. However, of course, if you want to stick with the monorail crawl, of course, go back up into the Great Ceremonial House, second floor, take the monorail to the Grand Floridian.
But it's honestly closer to walk from Wailulu, and it's, again, it's along that beach, along the lagoon, and
very nice
you
walk.
Go it's so close. I'm not even going to guess how far it is, but it's very, very close. I actually took a little video, and I think it was actually closer to walk to the G-Flow than it was to go back to the ceremonial house.
Oh, I believe that. Oh, yeah.
It's very close.
So over at the Grand Floridian, there's several different lounges. The one we chose to go to was the Enchanted Rose.
I've been wanting to do this lounge forever, and I was so excited that today was finally our day, and it didn't turn out exactly as I thought it might.
I hate to say, just a little disappointed in Enchanted Rose. Now, their menu was fantastic, but it was surprisingly dark and surprisingly loud.
It was so loud.
Which is something we found at Sister Codes last time we were there, too. It amazingly loud for a space that is supposed to be a little more elegant.
It feels very elegant because you have this beautiful chandelier up above that's supposed to mimic Belle's dress. You have Beauty and the Beast touches here and there that are all very elevated, very elegant. And the whole atmosphere was very different from what I thought it would be. And that might have just been when we were there. Maybe it's just because the other people who happened to be in the lounge were celebrating, or they were...
That's true. There was several very boisterous groups in there.
Very. We were sitting at a two-top table. I had trouble hearing Rod from across the table. Like, it was loud.
I think that's part of what disappointed me a little more, too, was that the bartenders that were there were encouraging them to be loud.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, if they're celebrating, absolutely enjoy your celebration.
But it felt like a sports bar to me.
That
almost,
was,
which is what
yes.
It was, which is a big turnoff. It was enough that I would probably go to Citrico's next time.
I would too, or I would skip G-Flow entirely.
Well, if we're still doing
it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Well, let's talk the logistics here. Enchanted Rose is open 3:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. You do not make a reservation. You can join a walk-up list. And on that Sunday of a holiday weekend, we were quoted 40 minutes for our wait time, and we ended up waiting 20 minutes.
And we couldn't join the walk-up list until we were actually at the G-Flow.
Yes.
Even as close as we were at the Poly, it wouldn't let you join it. It knows where you are.
I'm watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
And now the bonus to waiting for Enchanted Rose is that the lobby is wonderful at the Grand Floridian, and we just went down the steps, waited by the piano. There was a guy, very talented gentleman, who was playing the piano, and he happened to be playing Santa Fe from Newsies, and I melted. It was so great. And there was a mom and daughter pair who was also standing there, just so excited to be hearing Newsies played on this wonderful grand piano. So we had a little moment with strangers, which I usually don't do as an introvert, but it was really nice. So we only waited 20 minutes and were able to get in. We got our two-top table. Rod, what did you have to drink?
Well, first I eat truffle fries.
Oh, yes, we did.
With the truffle aioli on it. This was okay. For just under $15. I want to say it seems elevated because it's got truffle, but it seemed like a needless elevation.
We've heard a lot of good things. We follow a lot of people who love these fries. If you love truffle, you may think these are the best thing ever. We both enjoy mushroom flavor. We like the umami flavor, but truffle is tricky.
Yeah.
It's a little bit goes a very long way, and the first 2 bites of these were fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you start getting that truffle oil sensation where it just kind of tastes like chemicals and dirt.
But anyway, what I had to drink, I had the seasonal old fashioned. The syrup on this changes every season. This was winter, so it was a cranberry. But also with that is a 10-year straight bourbon whiskey and bitters. So it's a very simple drink. It runs about $27.50. This was a very simple drink, a very expensive drink, and it was good. Was it worth $27.50? No, but it was good.
But had the atmosphere been what we wanted it to be, and had the truffle fries lived up to their reputation, the drink would probably have tasted better and maybe have been worth it.
That's true. And I think for part of what you're paying for here is the 10-year bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's not that it's expensive because it's seasonal. It is expensive because it's a better bourbon.
And I chose a drink that I've been wanting to try since the first time I heard of it, and it is a lavender fog. This is made of Nolet's Silver Dry Gin, Rothman Creme de Violette, English breakfast tea, vanilla, and cream. And it was delightful. It was $19.50. It was not a huge portion, but definitely enough to give you all those flavors and have a really enjoyable cocktail. It felt very grown up. It felt very elevated in a really, really nice, sophisticated way without being snooty. And it was just really delicious. I would have this drink again and again and again. Now, some of the other things on the menu that you can get, they do have charcuterie boards and cheese boards. They have croquettes that we have heard really good things about that are house-made sausage, tomato sauce, and pecorino romano cheese. They have a seasonal flatbread. We've heard really good things about some of these other things, but the truffle fries are the one thing that you hear about over and over. So that's what we tried. But I can't recommend them. Unfortunately, yeah. I think I wish I had tried something else from that appetizer menu. It might be a good reason to give them another try. I guess we'll see. Yeah, absolutely. And there are, I believe, 3 different rooms that you can be seated in. And we were in the main room that you see right off the bar, and that might have had something to do with it as well. Maybe that's true. Maybe one of the other rooms would have been quieter. Yeah, very high ceilings, much like Citrico's. It has a high ceiling, yeah, which it really just echoes anybody who's being loud. So they're open from 3:30 to 11. Citrico's, of course, is the other one we mentioned. They're only open from 5 to 9:30 because they mirror the hours of the restaurant. And you actually do go into the restaurant to get to the lounge. Yes. Would I recommend either of these? If you're doing a monorail crawl, yeah. Yeah. If you're just looking for a good hotel lounge, if you're not staying at the G-Flow, I don't think I would at this point. It's so disappointing because I expected this to be the cream of the crop, tip of the top, Mary Poppins, and then we stop. Exactly. I just thought it would be my favorite thing that we'd ever done at a hotel, and it was so far not that. It was not that at all. Now, let's talk about someplace we've been before, and that is... Now, we did hop the monorail. Oh, right. I do want to point that out because this is the one and only time on the monorail crawl that we did take the monorail. Theoretically, you can walk all the way from the Grand Flow in front of the Magic Kingdom and over to the Contemporary, but no, take the monorail. This is a monorail crawl, so yes, we did. And we went to the place we'd been before, which is the Steakhouse 71, but this time we went to the lounge. And the lounge, just like the other ones, is first come, first serve. And we just walked straight in, sat at the bar. There was no wait. We didn't have to wait at all. We didn't have to do anything. We just walked right in. Right. So we didn't have to join a wait list for this one. So if you go up to the counter, like where you would check in for a reservation, she'll just point you right back behind. You just walk back. You can't really see it because there's a wall there. And it's a fantastic place to sit and have a drink. Now, this one I would recommend. Sue and I have been to the restaurant for breakfast before. And hi, Shelby and Mike and Sawyer, if you're listening. Got to meet them there one time for breakfast, and it was fantastic. Listened to one of our older... And Catherine, sorry. Listened to one of our older episodes for a review of that. This has a similar menu because it's part of Steakhouse 71. But this has the burger. Yes, it does. This is the famous Steakhouse Stack Burger that we got, that we've seen so many other people talk about that we just couldn't resist. We've heard it's the best burger on property. We had to check it out. Is it? Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, can confirm. This Stack Burger kind of blew our minds. So, Rod, do you want to read that to us? Yeah, it's a signature blend of beef, pork belly, American cheese, lemon aioli, red onion, house-made pickles. Oh, those pickles are so good. They were so good. On a brioche bun. And it's served with a choice of Caesar salad, Parmesan fries, or pasta salad. We definitely got the Pommes frites. Yeah, the Pommes frites, the Parmesan fries. And there is a whole bunch of other things you can get here. You can get the crab cakes, you can get the macaroni and cheese, which is supposed to be some of the best on property as well. The onion rings, the shrimp cocktail, bacon and eggs. I want the bacon and eggs next time we go. Yeah. That is maple lacquered pork belly with smoked cheese grits and a perfect egg. And it sounds so good. Anyway, the burger simply was the best burger I've had on Walt Disney World property. And the fries were super good. Yeah. I got a side of the ranch to dip them in, and it was so good. I have heard that the ranch is plant-based. I didn't notice anything different about it at all. It tasted like completely normal, delicious ranch to me. Well, and this was $24. Yeah. A regular burger at Cosmic Rays is going to be less than that, but any other bar burger or restaurant burger you get on property is somewhere between $20 and $25 now. So this is right on par with that and is the best tasting and best
built burger you're going to find at Walt Disney World.
And extremely shareable. We shared it, and there was plenty left over. It was a big burger. And that lemon aioli is what makes it. I tell you, the lemon aioli and the house-made pickles. Oh my gosh, so good. You have to like cheese. If you don't like cheese, what are you even doing with your life?
Come in. We were just about to have some cheese.
Oh no, not cheese. Sorry, it brings me out in a rash. Can't stand the stuff.
Not even Wensleydale.
I mean, come on.
So I got the French 71, which is cognac, Prosecco, pear nectar, agave, and lemon juice. Yes, please. I drank this all in about 3 minutes. It didn't last. It was fantastic, and almost ordered a second one, but didn't. Because I figured we were going to be headed back to the hotel, and I didn't want to be seeing 14 different versions of the monorail. Okay, here's a warning. What Sue got normally comes in a large glass for 2 people. And Sue, what did you get?
I got the 1971 Sunset. It is some kind of tequila that I can't pronounce. I'm sorry. I am not good with that. So it's tequila, hog juice, rosemary simple syrup, and house-made grenadine. It was $15.50 for a single serving. You can ask for a single serving.
And the poor lady next to us had ordered it right off the menu as it came, and it came in a fishbowl.
Literal fishbowl.
It's made for 2 to
Plus.
3 linebackers. I don't know how the difference between 1 and 2 people between those 2 drinks, because the one that was built for 2 was built for a small family that's all over 21.
Right. But this was by far my favorite drink of the night. It was absolutely delicious. You could taste the tequila in there. That pog juice just smoothed it right out. It just made it so, so drinkable. I adore rosemary simple syrup, so that was like one of my favorite things. And it was beautiful because of the colors layer. This was the drink of the night for sure. I'm so glad we ended our night this way instead of starting it and just being disappointed along the way.
True.
Because this was it for me. And the vibe in there is so fun. I love the contemporary to begin with, like the 1970s. I love the whole aspect of that modern, mid-century modern furniture. If you're familiar with Herman Miller, that's the vibe that they're using in there. It's so good. And everything is just like done so well. They had, I think, 3 bartenders behind the
they were
bar.
Fantastic.
They were so great. You didn't have to wait for anything. They were checking on you. They were making sure everything was good. Bo, the bartender, brought us both a glass of champagne when we were done because we were celebrating our birthdays on this trip.
Mm-hmm.
And we had our buttons on.
Buttons, yeah.
So he just brought us over a little glass of champagne as we were getting ready to leave. And it was such the perfect way to end the night. I absolutely love this one. This was my favorite stop. It was my favorite lounge. And it was my favorite drink.
Agreed. And favorite food, although Wailulu's, now that I'll take a step back, because of the newness of Wailulu and the nachos we had.
Yes.
That I think was my favorite single bite. But my favorite, it's hard.
It's hard
because the stack burger was so different. And
the stack burger was a meal.
True. Yeah, there you go.
Even
Whereas the other one's
shared.
an appetizer.
Yeah, the other one was an appetizer. So those were, and such different vibes. I say that Steakhouse 71 was my favorite lounge, but Wailulu was so different because you had the island vibes.
Exactly.
Instead.
And you can see out onto the water. Now, here's a couple things about Steakhouse 71 is it's in the basement. It's literally on level 1 of the Contemporary. So if you come in on the monorail, take the escalator down to level 4, which is the main concourse. Then look for the escalators going down again and follow them all the way down to the lobby. You'll see Steakhouse 71 just to the right of check-in. And it has no windows. When we were kids and went here and stayed at the Contemporary, our first trip together, this was the Fiesta Fun Center. It was a 24-hour arcade, soft serve ice cream, and movie theater.
I felt like such a grown-up going down that escalator without mom and dad to go play video games. It was the best. Oh, and they had popcorn.
They did. The whole thing smelled like popcorn. I remember that.
Now, if you wanted to do a different lounge, you wanted an alternative, I don't recommend that because just go to Steakhouse 71 Lounge. But they also have the Outer Rim, which is on the 4th floor. We actually do love Outer Rim.
Yeah, it's right there next to Chef Mickey's. And this one does look out over onto the water and over towards Magic Kingdom.
Toward Magic Kingdom, yeah. You can actually see fireworks from there.
The biggest part of that is Steakhouse 71 is open from 11:30 to 11. the restaurant opens for breakfast, but the lounge opens at 11:30. Whereas Outer Rim opens at 11. You can actually get drinks 30 minutes quicker at the Outer Rim, and they're open until midnight, so they're open a little later.
And one other alternative, you can go all the way to the top to California Grill. They do have a lounge there. You do not have to do the prefix meal and the 3 courses. You can sit at the lounge and order off of the regular menu, a la carte, and get your drinks there. It is first come, first serve. It is very hard to get into, but their lounge is open from 5 to 10.
Yeah, look for the elevators that are basically encompassed in the murals that you see in the Grand Canyon Concourse, and look for the check-in stand for California Grill, and ask them about lounge seating. It is first come, first serve, but you do have to get on their list to get in. Much like Trader Sam's, you have to check in before opening to get there, and then you may have to wait several hours to get a seat. Do not think you're going to get up there for fireworks.
But here's
you might,
a tip.
But you probably won't.
This is one of the locations, much like they do over on the beach at the Poly, where they do pipe in the music out on the California Grill balcony out there. So here's a tip for you. If you do get one of those earlier reservations at the lounge, you can come back later in the evening for fireworks if you have been there during the day. So I don't know how I haven't done this. I've just heard. So I don't know if they stamp your hand. They give you a little
like the old
ticket.
days.
I don't know what they do, but they do allow you to come back so that you're not seated at 5 and going, hey, it's already 6. We might as well wait until 9:30 to watch fireworks from here. They don't want you to do that.
But
that is
check
true.
with the hostess and they'll let you know how that works.
Yeah. So, Rod, what was your favorite atmosphere?
Favorite atmosphere was Wailulu.
Nice.
I love the Polynesian vibe. I love the Poly. It's my favorite resort. And being able to sit there right on the water and look out and see the grandeur of the Seven Seas Lagoon I loved it. And it was my
beautiful.
favorite bite is going to be the ahi tuna crisps that we had. What was your favorite bite?
My favorite bite was also the ahi tuna crisps. That Steakhouse 71 stack burger was incredible. Definitely my favorite burger, but I will always take a fresh ahi tuna over a burger just in general. So I'm going to agree with you and say that was my favorite bite. My favorite drink, however, was that 1971 Sunset at 71 Lounge.
And mine was the French 71 at the 71 Lounge as well. So
there you go.
There you go.
Go eat at Wailulu and come get drinks at Steakhouse 71.
There you go. Hey, let us know what your favorite drinks or snacks are along the monorail. We'd love to hear your expeditions on the Monorail Crawl. And remember, do not drive in and try to do this. Always have somebody either drive you through Uber or a cab or some other way. Monorail is great. You know, if you're staying at the resort, take the bus to the Magic Kingdom and then take the monorail or the boat to whichever starting location you want to go to.
Absolutely. And don't forget to get those snacks along the way because it does help absorb some of that alcohol. And when you are waiting on a monorail or walking to your next location, you're not going to end up too tipsy with this one,
right,
if you are doing it correctly. So this is not about getting drunk. It's just about enjoying your time and relaxing on your vacation.
Exactly. Before we go, we'd like to give a big thank you to our theme music composer, Jason Patrick Rowan, whose music is licensed through Pond 5. And of course, thank you, Phoenician.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 95 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye.
Thank the Phoenicians.
Our initial desire was to hit up Trader Sam's because Seder, he's not Jewish, it's not a Seder.
No, Theodore. The sacramental wine.